So, is there anything you had written down in your notebook from yesterday that we should talk about before we continue?
I just stupid, but I didn't get so it's the CAI thing. I got the confident, assertive, but I forgot the
In
I,
charge.
in charge.
That's good. And now you always remember CIA.
I had a question.
Yes.
And the question was, you know how you feel when you are in a group 3D? That body experience that you have there as a facilitator, and the other experience sitting on the chair and having people on the screen.
What's the difference?
Okay.
Is that the question? Is that the question? What's the difference?
Yes.
Okay. So,
I mean, in your experience, you know, or what you have noticed that.
Yeah. There's a big difference actually, and it's actually part also of today's teaching content. In general speaking terms, when you have somebody in 3D, you have more means of I don't want to say control, more means of directing the person and the group, right? If it's on the screen, they can just vanish. You know, somebody can just turn off the video, just leave, and you have no idea in which state of mind they are, right? So, and we talk about that today. So that's a really big challenge for an unexperienced leader, and not to be not recommended, because it gives you some sleepless nights, wondering what happened to these persons. The positive side, however, is that if somebody is there completely inappropriate and it's really distracting the group, you can just turn them off. So that's the good side about it.
My question, well, very good, thank you. My question came from, you know, what I experienced in the group there was I could feel the change when the dynamic changed. We could feel the vibe changed, you know, the field changed. And I wonder if you do, with your years of experience, feel that being at home in the computer. When the dynamic, something happened, the father and the mother or the child or something, a movement changed the field. I felt that.
Yeah, of course it does, but it does it online as well. So I don't see a difference there. So I don't see a difference there. I think the movements of the participants is the same. It's more subtle, obviously, and you need a little bit more help or more experience, you know, to see it, I would say. But other than that, no, the movements are the same.
Okay.
It is even better when it's even better online. It's better online because they cannot rush anything. So the representatives cannot rush anything. You know, you have to. They are all sitting, and you have to ask for movements, and you have to ask. And they say, well, I think I want to lay down. So they have to really feel it. So I think it's less in the mind, actually. As far as the representatives are regarded, I find the online work is more to the point, just, you know, if you will.
Yeah. I was not participating in the constellation, but I did feel, you know, the movement, the field yeah, what the changes that were happening. Yeah.
Mhm.
But online, I can't, like, I mean, I don't feel it, but I can, it move me if the dynamic is happening and is triggering me, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay. Very good. Any other questions so far? Um, so good to the.
I don't know in regards to this other one. I just pointed it out, but I don't know what I'm going to ask about it. Overlooking an important, in the traps to fall into, part
Yeah.
three. Overlooking an important fact, a person in a constellation.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I wanted to know about that.
Well, as we said, hang on. As we said, um, that is just a trap to fall into. Like, I mean, oh, that's just a mistake. You have to. That's just an example for a mistake, really, that you have to own, because you can't, you can't reverse it. You cannot say, okay, let's start new. Let's forget about everything and we start new. That's not what you do, right? You've been there, the constellation has come to a kind of end, and then you sit down and either you or a participant or the client realize that there was this family member everybody was talking about, that you forgot to incorporate in the constellation, right? And that I would not say, okay, let's do it again or something like that. I was just, leave it there as it was, because somehow in the end you have to trust that everything is okay as it is anyhow, right? You have to trust it, otherwise you can't do the work. So somehow you're gonna trust it anyhow.
Mm, I get it. You
Okay.
you very professional, and you normally say, I think it could be looked at again in another constellation if you want.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. If that's, yeah, if that's the case. Hmm?
Thank
Okay,
you.
so let's come to part two. We are looking now how to structure a workshop, and we are also having lots of exercises today, so that's going to be fun. What we are looking at today is we are looking at the family constellation circles with friends and family. We are looking at designing a family constellation workshop. We are looking a little bit at how to market it. We are looking at how to deal with queries regarding the workshop from interested peoples. We are actually looking how to do the family constellation workshop, how to set everything up, how to conduct it, how to finish it off. And we will look at that in an in-person 3D workshop and also online. So that's our today's teaching content. So let's get started with what I call the family constellation circles with friends and family. That's actually a literal translation from Bert Hellinger. He has introduced it probably 20 years ago when he had his first trainees who wanted to start to do family constellations. He said the way to start is it's in German it's called ein Freundeskreis. You are creating a friendship circle in your area, and see if you get a handful of enthusiasts together who are willing to come to regular meetings where you can practice. So and I did that actually, and as I said yesterday, Gabriel was part of it. Yay, from the first hour, and this is how it worked. This is how it works. This was where everything started for me. So I found that so utmost important that I had this time to practice and to uh, find out how I do that and how I can do that, and where my boundaries are in a very safe space. So why is it safe? It is because so first of all, what you actually want to do is you don't want to think of having a new like, oh, I earn money with it, or I gain whatever, I become famous with it, or whatever, or I'm so selfless I can help so many people. That's all not the right perspective. What is the right perspective is that you can, wherever you are in the world, you can spread the family constellation work. That's actually the point, right? Because this is what you need to do. This is what the field asks you to do, because we all know what a wonderful modality for healing this is, and how uncommon it is in most areas of the world, surprisingly. And as more you spread the family constellation work in your area, as more future participants you have for your workshop. Because if nobody knows about it, guess what? Nobody comes. So I have a very interesting, I don't know whether that's actually a good example, but it comes to my mind, so I rather say it. When I was a lawyer and I had a client, and I did franchise law, and he was looking at outlets in Munich in a street. Um, he had shoe shops to open a shoe shop. And I was a young lawyer, and I had no idea of marketing. And I said, "Oh, really? Why are you looking there? There are about like 20 shoe shops already. Like, honestly, there's practically in this street is one shoe shop next to the other." And then he said, "Yeah, that's exactly why I want to go there, because people going there because they want shoes. Why would I go to the other end of Munich where there are, let's say, there are only flower shops? Yeah. Nobody goes there to get shoes. They want flowers, right?" So I learned, and it still sticks with me, I learned from that is that there is no such thing as competition. You know, as more you offer a service or a good, as more demand is there. That's how it works, right? Because by being exposed to something and by seeing something, people want it. That's basic psychology. Hmm? So if in your area, if you're making family constellation known and other makes it known as well, be grateful for that, you know, because as more people are reached and interested in family constellation, as better it is for themselves, for the whole world, for the work, and for yourself as well, being part of the community. So having said that, the the work you do with family constellation, other than your personal growth, obviously through the course of the year's training, hopefully you will learn a lot about yourself and really get relief of your own burdens and grow personally towards higher frequencies, higher vibrations, higher consciousness. And the outcome is hopefully that you can and want to spread the love in the area and make family constellation known, right? And in order to do that, it has to be very accessible, very accessible. So no hurdles, no walls, no boundaries, right? And this is why it is such a good idea to do that. And it was very successful. Well, it was in my case very successful. And in the others I know about family constellation, friendship circles, how in the way that Bert Hellinger has um, supposed it to do. So how does that look? So first of all, you get a small group of enthusiasts together. Right? It could be your closest friends, obviously, that's quite obviously, or family members that are with you, or flatmates, or whatever. A small group could be 2 people. Yeah, you get them together, and then you decide you want to meet. You want to meet. So you would find a room. You might do it at home. That would be probably the normal start. So if you have a room at home, or you find another room that you can rent, can you get without paying any rent, and then you decide with this small group to do regular meetings that are about family constellation in the Bert Hellinger method. So very broad. It's like coming together because you are interested in into model trains or model airplanes or whatnot. You know, you're just interested in the same thing, and then you want to come together and want to talk about it. You want to look at it. You want to do something together with it. So that's actually the same thing. So choose a room that doesn't cost you anything, yeah, because you really don't want any cost, because you will have also no income. So you don't want to feel that you're spending money on it. If you know if money is not an issue, that doesn't matter, obviously. But if it is, then make sure you make it less costive, so you don't regret it, and you don't have expectations, and you don't feel desperate for an income from family constellation. Um, because the whole purpose is it has to be free of charge. So you are not the one who has to deliver anything. Yeah, this is extremely important for you, that you understand that. If you would even ask for koha for Gabriel, that means a donation. It is Maori. If you even ask for koha, you are already under the pressure that you got something and you have to give something in return. And to start with family constellation work, you don't want to be under any pressure or any expectations to be fulfilled at all. That is really important, so you can relax and go with what the field is just providing for you to do, right? And it was from Bert Hellinger. It was like, if you wanted to name, because there was a name, it was kind of like a brand name, Bert Hellinger Freundeskreis. If you want to name it like this and be on a list, you know, they had a list German-wide or Europe-wide, or I don't know what, who's offering this Bert Hellinger friendship circles. It was not allowed to take any money for it. Right. So it's really, it was for a really good reason. So take that to heart. This is for you very important. So make it social, make it like a potluck. Everybody likes to eat and drink, you know how we are, right? It's just what it is. So you can bake some cookies for this event or anything, so people, your friends, they're looking forward to come regardless of family constellation or not. It is a social event. Make it a fun thing, yeah, with potluck. Obviously no alcohol, but and obviously plant-based, if you ask me. But other than that, something fun, or just cookies and a pot of chai tea or something like that. So make it fun and social. I think that's important. So take the pressure away from you and anybody else. And kind of think about, when you have a friend, like once a month or something, when you have this friendship circle going on, think about what you would like to do with them. Like, because you are the leader, right? This is fun and social, but you are preparing to lead workshops. So you are also leading this friendship circle. So think about how you want to lead it and what you want to provide there. So it's not only a chit chat, you know, having a cuppa chit chatting. It is for you to discover your leading potential in family constellation surroundings, environments, and therefore, yep, you prepare a topic that you want to talk about, that you want to present. Also, remember, you want to spread family constellation in your area. This is why you also want to give some information about it, no? And that doesn't mean, oh, obviously, you're not having big talks or trying to train anybody. That's impossible. Just something that is of interest, like, you know, something from the course you have learned in a little bit more in depth. For example, something from the Orders of Love, siblings, for example, or the lost twins, or a little bit, just one topic. And then you can talk about it, you can research it for yourself, which is great, because you would recap everything and you would probably go more in depth. So it's also for you, is deepening your learning if you find every month a topic you want to talk about, so you know everything about it. and then you can talk about it, and people will hopefully be interested and listening and have questions, and so you can provide information about family constellation, but you can also deepen your knowledge, and third, you learn to lead a group in a safe environment where no pressure, because they cannot expect anything from you because it's just a social gathering. Okay. At this meeting, you can offer to facilitate one constellation, right? Even if you have 4 or 5 people sitting there, if maybe even more, just make it just one. It is really difficult for you to hold the space for longer, and you be really, that's, I just say that's enough. Don't try to do 2 or 3, just one, because you want the people to come back next month anyhow, right? So make one, and don't think of it like a constellation that needs to have everything we talked about. Constellation, this is really a trial situation, so it's more demo, but as you know, there is no such thing as theories. You're always constellating something in real when you start to do the work. You can't avoid it because the field just takes over, right? But in your mind, you don't need to think, oh, I have to constellate now for somebody and deliver any kind of result. It's more, okay, now we demonstrate. I see how far I can go. That's the way to look at it. Yeah. It's for you to see how far you can go. What's happening. You be curious and open. You have no pressure because nobody expects you to do anything special, and you are applying the teaching content, the orders of love, the dynamics, and everything you have learned, and see how far, just see how far you go, and take it really lighthearted, and make sure that you are always happy with what you do, right? Happy and relaxed. The least thing you need is to come under a kind of pressure or stress when you do this work. It should be joyful, happy, lighthearted, and beneficial for everybody, including you. And of course, you want at one stage, you want to provide your first workshop and for paying participants. So if everybody thinks they come to you and get constellations for free, guess what? They won't come to your workshops, because why would they pay? So there need to be a point of difference, right? There need to be a point of difference between the friendship circles and the workshops. And the point of difference is that you are not doing a full constellation at the friendship circle, only demonstrations. And you always have to point out this difference as well. So you never say, okay, now we are constellating. Who has a problem? We're saying, okay, let's demonstrate family constellation. Maybe you have talked about something. Let's say you have talked about, let's say, the lost twin situation, right? Then you would probably say, shall we look at it how that actually looks in a family constellation? And then everybody would say, yeah. And then you would probably ask somebody if they want to talk about their siblings, somebody who has siblings, and then you start to constellate their siblings, and you might find that there is indeed a lost twin that comes up, which is most likely because we are going with the field, right? And if not, you can just, say that would look like this if there would be a lost twin or something like that. So you are making it very open what you do, and it's really focused on a specific topic, and it's not a full constellation, which is reserved for any workshop situations. You can, of course, invite, when you are not ready to constellate workshops, feel free to invite them to an online workshop. Then they get the idea how that works, and they are more educated and more keen to come to the friendship circles regularly every month, because you know how that is. If you feel the benefits of a family constellation, then you want to stay in this energy. And what is better than having somebody local, who's providing these friendship circles, which is awesome. So the goal is to practice how to, so in these friendship circles, right, or family constellation circles with friends and family, the goal is to practice how to set up a workshop situation and to lead a group. Yeah, so you practice that. Of course, you include practicing your facilitation skills and deepen your connection to the morphic field as well. But that is kind of a side effect of this group events. You want to get used to have a group together, talk about family constellation, and lead the group in a certain way, you know, that you can kind of control the group later in a workshop. So it's not going astray. So now imagine you have set up a friendship circle. I would say, well, I did it for 2 years before I provided my first work, almost 2 years before I provided my first workshop. So that's up to you. I would say at least for 1 year, you should have practiced having this group together. And then you design a workshop and see, 3D, I'm talking about 3D workshops, and see how you can set it up in your area. Aim for 4 to 6 participants. 4 participants is probably minimum to constellate because you have 1 client and 3 representatives. 6 is even better. You have a couple of more representatives. More than 6 participants is already harder to control as a beginner in terms of group leading, right? Of course, when you're an experienced group leader already, then you find it easy probably with a group of 10. But if you are starting new and leading groups in this way, so why I'm saying that is not that you restrict yourself, but it is not so easy to get you know, a workshop with people together when you are a beginner for 10 or more people. That is not to be expected, right? So I would say be content if you have 5 people together. You know, that makes a good workshop for you. With 5 people, you can also just make it a half-day workshop instead of a full-day workshop, which gives you a little bit more space and time to breathe, and it is not so strenuous for a beginner to hold the space for the whole day. So if you have 4 participants, you can conduct 4 constellations in half a day. Like when you're a beginner constellation, they will be longer. You have to expect that. The constellations will be longer. So you might need, like just as a rough idea, an hour per constellation. Yeah. So that's what you can kind of, you know, that's what you have. It's just a rough measure, an hour per person. When you start, it could be less with one, it could be more with the other, right? And also you need a break in between, and you want to talk about, you might have questions. So let's say if you have 4 participants, you want to have 4 hours workshop. If you have 5 participants, you want to have a 5-hour workshop. And as you will see later when we go how to structure a workshop, there's also lots of other things you can do which are not constellating, and they are also of great benefit for the work you want to do and for the group to come together and to find some mutual ground and, you know, trust, like raising the vibration of the group and finding trust towards each other and all of these. So there are lots of things you could do. So that can fill in some space as well. So of course, keep the costs and the fee low. As a beginner, you can't, you know, expect them to pay too much. And because you don't want to overspend all the time, this is not a way to make much money. This is more a way to gain experience. So if you can cover your cost with your income, then you should be fine. You should be happy with that. In these friendship circles, outline the difference. I said that before. Outline the difference between the family constellation workshop and the meetings. So they understand, and often you have to say that a couple of times to sink in that the friendship circle members are not getting free constellations all the time. So you would expect your family constellation friendship circles, for all the time, so much time you put into organize and to do it, and without any reward. Of course it's great for you to practice, but also there should be like your friendships people should be the first who are actually coming to a workshop and pay, right? Just to say. So you would expect that. So that's also why you want to start with a friendship circle, because you should have your group of participants or almost together when you start with workshops with these friends, right? And they may bring a friend, or half of them are coming and the other half brings a friend, and here you go, you got your group together, right? So this is how it could work. Even though, so for the friendship circles, I would also probably design a flyer to make sure, A, you can plaster it around your area. B, somebody can take something home as a reminder, clip it to the fridge and knows, okay, there's a friendship. You can design a friendship circle flyer that is ongoing. Like, we meet every first Monday of the month at 7 o'clock and there or there, right? So something like that. That would be great because people can count on it. Of course, online is also great, Facebook events and all of that. You know that anyhow, how to do that. I would do both. I would not just do only Facebook. I would do old-fashioned posters and put them at the baker, at in the library or community center or wherever, right? And use the word family constellation often, because as more people see it, as more they want it. Remember that. So this word family constellation, although you mainly have to explain it all the time to people what that means, it's worth it, because any attempt in the last 40 years to give it another name has failed. So it's just meant to be family constellation, despite the fact that we are looking at all kinds of issues and ailments, and you don't need to bring your family with, which everybody thinks who hears it from the first time, right? So when you are designing a workshop, there is a about me section, obviously, right? Because they want to know to whom they go, whom they trust with their issue. So it is really important that you talk about yourself, but be honest. Don't exaggerate or don't what is the opposite of exaggerate? You know, don't belittle yourself neither, right? Be honest. Say exactly what you did before, what your training is, what your profession is, and that is always, in the long run, that always is good. That always counts. And of course, this is a work that builds on trust, and it is easily to lose trust, and it's really hard to regain it. Yeah, it's really hard, and especially if you're in a small, like, in a small town situation, you need to be very careful with that. So marketing a workshop, there are obviously word of mouth. It's the best thing. So in order to create word of mouth, it's also great if you have a friendship circle already, then you say to all your friendship, bring a friend to the workshop, and they have, I don't know, 50% off or something like that, or everybody gets an extra cookie, or I don't know, something. Yeah, you can offer them something if they bring a friend. That's one thing, or a partner or family member. And that's the best way to spread it anyhow. Social medias, of course, nowadays are very good. I have tried to boost Facebook posts for workshops, and I don't have a lot of response to that. I think the word family constellation is just not known enough. If I would have a yoga retreat and I would boost it, then that would be a different thing. But with family constellation, that seems to be a little bit of a waste of money, but to go. Next time is different. Everything is evolving and growing, and you never know. So um, online marketing, that's what I said. I was talking about Facebook boostings. There are probably other online marketing tools that you could use. But of course, you know that if you don't earn money with something, then you also don't want to spend too much money. So maybe just rely on referrals from friends, and that friends are sharing your Facebook event on their timeline. That would be probably the most appropriate way to make it known in your area. Posters, put posters everywhere. You know that cannot hurt, and it has the effect that people are reading the word family constellation more often, and this alone has already an effect. So put just a poster, even if you don't expect anybody to sign up, somewhere where the people go every day, like the supermarket, the grocery, or the post office, or something like that. What's next? That's flyers. We talked about that. Direct marketing for a workshop, that would be what's not online. You know, things like merchandisings and printing T-shirts, or giveaways or something like that. This can be all really nice, as you know, when you start to earn money with it, that would be nice to do. But I think before family constellation is not widely known in your area, it's probably a waste of money. So please, you rather be careful with not spending too much money there right away. So once you have the queries from potential participants to come to your workshops, now we have to think about how we deal with this, right? So first of all, you will have two different how can I say, sets of persons, so to speak. The ones that know family constellation and are delighted that there's a new facilitator in town and can't wait to come to your workshop. So that's the one. That's an easy customer, right? You just need to talk about the details of your workshop. And then you have the other set of persons who really don't know what family constellation is, but they may know you, or they know somebody who knows you, or they know somebody who has been to a family constellation and has talked about it positively. So now you have to explain to these people, and you know how hard that is if you try with somebody, if you say, oh, I'm doing a family constellation training, and then they say, oh, what is that? So what do you say then? Is the answer is, do you have an hour? Or what do you say? And I mean, that's a real question now.
I say it's a methodology to deal with a different kind of psychological and issues and things in life created by a psychologist, and then they ask more questions generally. And I think I generally say also that it's connected with the idea of morphic field, and everybody is connected, so people who are not connected with you can represent those that have the issue with you, more or less.
And that is satisfying people.
Well, they generally starts a long conversation.
Exactly.
That's the start of a long conversation. Yeah.
My experience too. Who else has an experience with that? So we're all in the same boat here, right? So you know how long it takes to explain family constellation. So what would help is you have some sort of information brochure that you can send, or you have even a website, or you have a Facebook site, something which is easily accessible where you can say, oh, here's the link, look it up. And when you have a question, then call me again. That would save a lot of time, right? So just be prepared to have something like that, even just a PDF. Just say, what is your email address? I send you a PDF. You know.
I have shared the link, but I don't know if this will be bad or not, but I always share my experience and how we connect and how the dynamic could go, and that they can constellate anything. That's what I
Yeah,
said. They can constellate anything,
which
any
is
issue,
true.
anything in life.
Which is true.
Yes. So I talk about my experience. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's another good way to
Mm.
do it. If you have a little bit of time on your hand when you talk to people, then you can go into more detail and give some real life experiences. So when we are talking about a workshop, you have to have two sets of information. One is about family constellation to those who have no clue what that is but are curious, and the other set is of course your workshop details, obviously, right? So that's one thing. Payments, there is something that Bert Hellinger and Sophie Helling was very strict about. Payments have to be upfront in a family constellation. This has to do with the orders of love and the balancing. So you can't come to a family constellation with a debt towards your facilitator. That has an influence on the morphic field, and that has an outcome on the result, right? So that's what Bert and Sophie Helling are always saying. Everything has to be paid up front, the whole amount, before you can come to this event. So there's also no cash at the door. Right? It has to be paid in advance. Also, of course, you know how that is. If somebody says they want to come and they want to pay at the door, they may not come. Because if they haven't paid, they feel free to decide last minute to do something else with their money. But for you, that can, if a few people do that, that can cost you the whole workshop, because all of a sudden you have not enough people there. So it's really not fair, and it's fair enough to ask everybody to pay at least, like, I don't know, 5 days in advance, something like that. So then you know who's coming, who's not coming. The early birds are sometimes really helpful. If you plan your events long, up front over a month, then you can also give a discount for early birds. Then you know, okay, I have the minimum amount, like say 4 people have paid an early bird discount, so I can go ahead with my workshop, because even if I don't have any more subscribers, we can still have a half-day workshop. And then if you have more people signing up, even better. So dealing with queries, uneasy customers, we always have this odd person one here now and then. They are often these people who write email after email after email. And my experience is I decide after probably the 3rd email that if they're not paying now, I'm not answering any emails anymore, because they could be notorious. I don't know how to call them, notorious query people who never actually sign up. And there are a few, and they cost you so much nerves and time. And it's really, you have to make a decision for yourself. When do you stop dealing with somebody before they pay? I think 3 emails are enough, you know. Cancellations, you have to think about your cancellation policy. Some people expect if they can't come that they get their money back. Yeah, be aware of that. Which is obviously not fair, because if they sign up and if they pay, that's their problem if they don't come, you know. I mean, that's not yours. And also, Bert Helling was very strict there, because what happens is with family constellation, which is probably different to other workshops, is that because of the field and the and what's lying ahead of a participant coming to a family constellation workshop, it happens that they don't come. Something happens, you know. A family member gets sick, or they feel sick in the morning, or something happens and they just don't come. And that is why they are afraid of the change that, you know, that will happen in the workshop. Virna, what is it? You had that? Yeah.
No, I did something like that, but it was a workshop in yoga,
Mm.
and I felt unwell that morning, and I canceled. I messaged to say I can't come, but then later on I was feeling okay. I was like, this is silly, and I missed my workshop.
Yeah. But that's exactly what happens. Something is unconsciously going on that makes you not to want to go. And when you know, that is kind of the punishment for that, is that you lose your money. If you would be rewarded for such a behavior, that you let your ego go, you know, take over, by also getting the money back, that would be even worse. So Bert and Sophie Hellinger were very strict with it. They said, you sign up, you pay, and that's it. You can come or you cannot come, but there's no refund at all. At all. So that's the one side of the spectrum, and the other side of the spectrum is that, yeah, no problem. If you don't come, you get your money back. So you obviously have to decide how you want to deal with it, right? And there's something in between. So you could, for example, offer not to pay the money back, but to offer to come to the next workshop for free. Yeah. But that's it. Because I also had, but that was actually not family constellation, that was another workshop I'm offering. I had a sign up who paid, and then it was a 7 weeks workshop. So for 7 weeks, every week we meet. And after the second one, I think she couldn't come, and excuses. And then the third time she didn't come, and all of a sudden she wasn't there anymore. Okay. And then half a year later, when I had the same course, she said, oh, I'm coming. I said, yeah, that's okay. You have paid already. Come, just come. And she didn't come. And it went on 3 times like this. It's unbelievable. And then I said, okay, whenever she wants to come now, she has to pay again. Because this is just not, you know, there was ample opportunities to come. So I would after this experience, I would just offer that once. It's just, you know, because it wasn't your fault in the first place that this person didn't show, right? So then the other thing is, if you have to cancel the workshop, now that is obviously when you pay everything back. When you don't have the minimum, when something happened with your event room, or with the venue, or you fall ill, or you don't have the minimum amount of participants and you have to cancel, obviously everybody gets the money back. That's for sure. There's no question asked, right? That's just standard practice. And it's also good if this happens that you already have a new date. So you can say, I'm so sorry, I have to or you don't even need to say sorry, you just have it due to some circumstances, I have to cancel this event. The new date is blah, blah, blah. If you want to come to the new date, that's great. I book you in. You don't need to pay because, you know, they have paid already. Or if you can't make it, then I send you the money back. Something like that. That's just fair. And everybody would appreciate that, I suppose. And now we do our exercise. Yeah,
What I wanted to say was that when I enrolled to the package, remember that I asked if I could enroll to certain modules because that's what I was interested in.
Yeah.
Once I have paid everything, I was like, oh, there are some modules that I don't like. And then when I had to book them, I was like, having that pain and I have to be in that module and, make time for that. And that's when I find that when I do sometimes courses, I lose my interest.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, like, oh, I had to go because I paid for it and it was expensive and there is other things, other benefits. I've been making it, but I had a list of excuses from the beginning.
Very good. That's very honest. Thank you for sharing, Rona.
Yes. But it's me. It's something. It's not with this course. It happened with other courses as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is a point I lose the interest.
Yeah.
There is no connection anymore because of the gap on how it's happening.
Very good. Okay, let's come to our exercise. So I would like we do breakout rooms to create a family constellation, friends and family event. You work in groups of 2, so I will assign you 2 groups, yeah? And you will together design one invitation. So not for each of you, you will together design an invitation. What would you write, in the invitation to the friends and family circle events? Then I would like you to write down the opening sentence. How would you open, the event? How would you do that? What would you say? How would you introduce your circle, like the first time to the people who come? And you have 15 minutes for that, right? So I will make, and then we get together again and we exchange the results, and then we then it's time for the break. So let me stop sharing. You got that written down? Design an invitation. Write down the opening sentence. How you would, introduce your event to the people. Okay. One more second. I see Darshan is looking at the screen. You got it? Okay. Right. So, okay, here we go. And I will give you a 5, 10, and 15 minutes warnings. Yeah. So you know where you are at in case you lose track. Again. So how was it? Who wants to start sharing? Which group?
Yeah, I don't mind going ahead.
Darshan, yes, please.
Yeah. So what we came up with is just a few things. We kept it really simple. So we had a heading. So essentially the heading would have family constellations, circle of Bert Hellinger. So we'd have that at the top and we'll just keep it nice and simple. And then we would have, I guess, 3 main questions or kind of things that would maybe draw people in. So what is a family constellation? Do you want to know more about how we are connected? And then thirdly, we would say, do you want to know more about the morphogenic field? Which we kind of had a debate about because we thought morphogenic field might be too long a word. So we weren't sure about that, but we thought we'd just be clean with what we wanted to do. And those people that we wanted to attract would be attracted to that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, be true to yourself, no? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we would have, further to that, we would just add the following, I guess, key points. So it's things like we focus on some positive things, like would you like to attract positive relationships in your life? How to be successful in your life, in your schoolwork, in relationships? Do you want more peace in your life? And do you want to lead a healthy life?
Beautiful. I love it.
Okay.
Thank you. So you will join us.
Yes. I mean, the morphic field, if I read that, I will be like, if I don't know, what is that? And I will be attracted because I'm in that line, in that vibe. Yeah.
But that's
Tell
a
me more.
specific kind of customer. It's like not many people are like that, I would say.
So
When you
that's
mention
They were
complicated
questions of
stuff,
other things. It says as well, do you want to, improve your relationship? It has some other information in there. And maybe it will
yeah,
be like,
that's
if I
useful.
don't
That's
like
good.
the morphic, oh, what is this morphic? I will ask. Yeah.
Can I have your name and number?
Look, Darshan, how it has this interest in this conversation. It's awesome. So, what's following? What do you have in your invitation? Any details about your meetings?
Yes.
Yeah, you go
Of
ahead,
course.
mate.
Gabriel? Yeah.
Yes, we have then there's the details, telephone number and email address. That's it. It's just to make the people curious, not too much.
So you
That's
don't
why
have
we were. I would like. Yeah. That's why we should ask the question: do you want to know what's this, that? Then how can you change it to a better life? And then the telephone number and name. That's it, and the email address.
Okay.
And we meet every month, blah blah blah, and then you can join.
Oh, you say that you meet every month.
Yes.
See,
yeah,
it was for the
cool.
meeting. I told you.
But
Because
Oh,
otherwise,
I thought this was for the workshop. A workshop.
no.
She
No, it is
convinced
for the
me
family
too.
Okay. Yeah.
It's for the friend circle once a month.
She convinced me too. I was saying, no, it's for the meeting. And she'd go, no, for
And
the
I was
workshop.
like,
We just tell
no,
friends.
because
No, it's
it
for
said,
the
she said, put it on the library, at the cafe. This is why I convinced her. Yeah.
But that's
Anyway, what we did is good too, because
okay, hang on, it's not your turn yet. We go finish off with the other group first. So, what is your opening sentence?
Family Constellation Circle by Bert Hellinger.
no. The
That's a
opening
misunderstanding.
sentence
What you say in the circle. How will you introduce in the meeting? Family constellation.
Was this the question?
The opening sentences in the meeting, not on the invitation. Yeah.
Yep. So can I come in and say, is that all right?
Of course.
Okay. So I'm just going to make this up on the cuff, really.
Yeah.
Because I can. So it'd be something along the lines of, first of all, just creating, I don't know how much we want to go into this, but it's making sure that we've got really good, everyone understands the house rules as to what's going to happen at the session. So making sure there's safety perspective. And then talking about confidentiality, just making sure that everyone understands confidentiality and that everything that happens within the circle doesn't go out of the circle in terms of names is what I'd probably include. And then, and I guess then it's all about making people feel safe and just saying, look, if there's anything that you need to talk about, come and talk to us at the break, or have my co-facilitator that can help as well. And then if you're looking for an absolute like opening sentence, then there's so many that I can think of. But essentially it's all around making sure everyone feels safe. That'll be the key for me. Yeah.
Okay. Gabriel, how would you introduce family constellation to those who have come up for curiosity?
Only for curiosity.
Yeah, who didn't look up anything? Who came
There's
blank?
a dynamic. Because I explain it always like this. Look at your family, and then you will see there's a certain dynamic. Or why do you have some character, or why do you have problems in your life when you didn't even really live something? How can I say? It's who creates a problem, or why, and why? Why does a problem can pop up? That's
Are you
why I
referring to
started,
the
because I was
ancestor?
14.
Would you refer to the ancestors?
Not at the beginning. Not at the beginning.
Mhm.
Not at the beginning. I just speak about dynamics, not at the
Okay.
beginning.
Very
From
good.
ancestors, just the dynamics. Or sometimes they have even already, because, for example, only one example, then we stop. Suicide. You have always somebody if somebody makes suicide, you have already somebody in the line who made another suicide. And the first question I asked is, was there another person? Do you remember? And there was always another person.
Yeah, most likely. Very good. Thank you, group group 1. Okay, group 2. Now you have prepared everything for the workshop. That's fine. Off you go.
So we were very bad at collaborating, so we basically came up with 2 different things.
Oh, that's funny.
Because we couldn't agree on what we wanted to say, but that was peaceful anyway. So
Okay.
Peaceful bad collaboration.
It wasn't bad, you know.
on Zoom, at least, it was
No.
peaceful. It wasn't bad. Anyway, it was something on the line of, so I see like a title on the like I imagine the paper, like a piece of paper with the invitation on it, saying family constellation meeting on Saturday, the 17th of May from 10 to 1. An amazing opportunity to learn about, this is her version that I'm going to say first. An amazing opportunity to learn about the orders of love and its benefits in our family systems. While my version, it would be an amazing opportunity to learn about the therapeutic methodology created by the German psychologist Bert Hellinger. Useful, and then, well, that's okay. And then we would put something about the food and the drinks, and
whose idea was
share
that?
with friends if
Hers.
they want. Mine.
Yeah, Italians. It's always about food.
For me, it was the container.
I've been writing lists for some time, but I went like, if I read Orders of Love, I'm like, how boring. More stuff to learn about love. It's like,
and I was
well,
saying,
for her,
yeah,
that's
if it says
interesting. For
love,
me, the interesting thing is the word psychologist.
Yeah. Okay. Very
And
good.
then the opening sentence we barely shared. So I have my opening sentence, but hers. Mine is something about Bert Hellinger. So how he created this methodology based on his own experience working with the people. And he saw a specific set of rules that influence relationships in families and groups. And those are the orders of love. And from there, going a little deeper.
Explain the orders of love.
And then
or what?
Saying about safety and confidentiality. I did write that down.
Yeah. Would you explain the orders of love?
I didn't really explain them. No, I just say that something more general about looking for some kind of harmonies, like harmonizing the flow of love from the ancestors to the, without going into details, but like generally speaking. And I definitely mentioned the morphic field at that stage, not on the leaflet, in the introduction.
Right. All right. So where Verna, what is differing?
In mine is differing that I welcome, right? I said welcome to the Family Constellation Workshop, which I didn't say that was a meeting because I thought it was a workshop. I can see that all of you are interested in the method that Bert Hellinger has created. and which is the orders of love, how that happens, and where we connect to the morphic field, and so on. I am interested, and of course, in my daily life, if I mention this to someone else, I do tell them about how the love flows, how these dynamics, when we work in these workshops or these one-on-one, whatever it is, we I refer to remove what's the blockage, you know, why things are happening. We look at the situation, why things are happening, and in the dynamic, it will come to be either if it's the side of the father, the side of the mother, and it is worked through the generations. My mother, her mother, and my great grandmother, and so on. Could be, you know, and the facilitator at this point, who is the experience, will be the one who assess how far we go. Yeah. So for me, it will be something like that. I will talk about my experience and how much I know about it. Of course, I don't have limitations, but I don't want to scare anybody. And but I will give them a warning. If you find at any point, you know, that this is not for you, you can leave now. But if this is for you and you're interested in how, because it is not harmful, these help us to find solutions to our problems and to move on in life, you know, and have those answers of things that has been happening that we don't know what is you know, how it's happening. With in some situations we don't have to understand, you know, the whole thing. But it's important to give it a go. You know, I go blah 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 blah. Let's have cake.
So if you want to leave now,
Yes, because some people will be like, "Oh my God,
yeah.
no, I'm scared."
leave now or stay forever. That reminds me of
Yes,
telling
because
how.
you don't want someone that is, you're having a dynamic, you know, a workshop demonstration, and then suddenly someone runs away,
Yeah.
you know. So in the Latin community, something silly like that could happen, or
Yeah.
the talkative or the distractions. So it's something that requires being sharp, being confident.
Good. I like that. I can see that working with you guys. Yeah. We have to work on the collaboration skills here. You know?
We didn't argue. We didn't argue. She just said, "I like to do this my way," and I said, "I'm happy that you do it, but I like to do the same." Yeah, it was not a
It
bad
was-
disagreement. It
But the
flew.
question was the flyer for the family circle, no?
That was the misunderstanding. It
Yeah.
was for the workshop.
Okay.
I
I just wanted to
really
know
got
if
rigid about putting orders of love in the leaflet.
So let us just quickly pick that
I
up
really
here,
resisted the
Francesca and
idea.
Vilna, because Francesca likes the idea of using the word psychotherapy.
And
And
I have no problem with that. Yeah.
no, I'm just saying. However, be aware, Francesca, that Bert is not using that word. He was not proud to be a psychotherapist. The opposite was the case. He found it was not helpful at all. Right? And this is why he said, his method is not a therapy, let alone a psychotherapy at all. And he never mentioned that. And he said, family constellation is unique, it's a modality, and that's it. And he would, so just be aware of it. If you want to use the name, because it is correct that he was a psychotherapist, if you want to use it to describe him, and how can I say, his history, the history of him, his professional background, that's fine, but don't overuse
Emphasize.
emphasize it in that. So be aware of that, right? You may want to reconsider to put it in written, you know, because it's drawing a lot of attention to that, which is not quite in line of what he was aiming for. Yeah, Gabriel.
But he was no more part of the circle because die haben den ja ausgeschlossen.
Yeah, they chucked him out.
Yeah.
So he was dismissed from the psychotherapist board of psychotherapists in Germany because he,
like all of my teachers.
Yeah. because he
It's like Bach has been kicked out of the doctors. Hammer has been kicked out. All of the people I follow have been kicked out from the orders.
exactly.
It means
Thank
they
you,
are
Gabriel.
unique. They are strong and they stand up for what they believe in. Yeah.
Exactly.
love
Exactly. That's it. And that's a good sign. So the difference is from group 1 and 2 is that of course one was a workshop and the other one was a friendship player, but also group 2, Werner and Francesca, you were quite precise with your words, like, you know, one that wanted to dwell on the orders of love, the others on the psychotherapist word. It would be quite beneficial to keep it more open, to make it more broad and more indifferent. I would say to invite to don't give too many ideas to the people who read it for the first time, because you never know how people understand things. You know, you think it's completely clear what I write, but the people understand it completely differently. So as more ways of interpretation you give them, as you know, as more possible, more people you attract. Okay, well, that was great. Thank you. That was lovely. How did you find this workshop? This exercise? Good. Was it
Good
helpful?
idea.
Yeah.
Very
good.
useful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And how do you like the breakout room?
It was comfortable.
It's fun.
Fun. Okay, that's cool. I
It was
have never been in
funny.
a breakout
It's more
room,
fun.
so that's why I asked.
It was funny to have to call you to let us out
Why
and
is that?
put
Why
us.
can you not type a message?
We did.
I
Yeah, we did.
did. I don't. We did type.
We both typed, myself and
Yeah,
Francesca.
but I thought you weren't looked at it.
Oh,
Yeah.
hang on. Is that in the? No, I have no chat. No, chat
Ah,
is
right.
empty, completely empty. There's
Ah.
nothing in. Where did you write? And
So
there was
probably
nothing.
In the chat,
in the chat.
they wrote in
We
the
just
chat.
have one chat. Maybe I should have written to Maya. I didn't check that because we texted everyone.
To everyone. Yeah, that's right.
Ah, so
Don't know.
probably everyone
Next
in the
time we
breakout
try.
room. Yeah. So I have no.
There's
Next time we
there's
try.
There's an extra if you there's alle or Maya, so you have to write.
Yeah.
Next
See, we all
time you
learning.
put us in a breakout room, we try. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good, because I have never been in a breakout room and I don't know what you see. Gabriel, yeah.
Do you see?
Do you see
Because
it? Yes.
if you go to there's two options, alle in German, alle,
But that's
and
now
then
a
it will.
chat. That's a chat, not in
Yeah,
the. You're
but
not in a breakout
there's
room.
two options. There's alle, and you are not in alle, and then it's written Maya, moderator.
Ah, okay. That's probably the answer.
Yeah, but we need to
write-
try. We need to try.
Yeah, in the breakout room.
Because
that
if
would be great.
here, if you write to Alan, everybody gets it, her included. In the breakout room, it might be.
Yeah, but she's not in alle. She's not in alle.
She is.
I am in alle.
I'll show you
But
now.
only in the chat,
She is.
not in the breakout room, I suppose. So, ciao.
Now she sees and you see.
Ciao.
Yeah. Ciao.
Ciao. So ciao.
Going to
We're
have
going to the
dinner.
break. It's 38, 48. I see you again. Ciao.
Ciao.
So, Francesca.
You don't
need
see
to
me,
go?
but I'm here. Yes.
Okay, you
Yeah.
want to quickly
I'm just gonna
start?
say, yeah, my fear is to, interpret, be judgmental, and go emotional. And my joy would be to see a client heal or fix his or her problem.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Yeah. Ciao.
Ciao. And who else wants to share?
I think Francesca wanted to see your face when I say this.
Yeah, exactly. I'm waiting.
What's the greatest fear? I said that running out of words and not knowing what to say, kind of in a moment. But I think that it will be someone probably sabotaging me you know, and having to be sharp and ask them to leave or something, and it give me a bad reputation probably. And in regards to what will be giving me joy, no, I won't feel joy.
Very good answer.
Because I will come from the ego we said yesterday. So we feel unconditional love.
The greatest joy to feel unconditional love. Fantastic. Very good. Thank you, Virna. Gabriel, what is yours?
I'm afraid of that I mislead the constellation because I'm not connected to the field and that I, like in a case of that, not that I'm not afraid that I make any interpretation from the ego, but that I interrupt or that I see something what is not, that I misinterpret,
That's correct. Yeah.
or that I lead the constellation in the wrong way, or that the solution is not what it is really. So that's what that I'm not this kind of clear. This is really that's why I never started, because for me you have a really, really, really great responsibility. And when they are yelling, they are screaming and they're crying and blah blah blah, and they don't understand it, that it's only a picture, because from the beginning I always thought it's only a picture. I have this really this anxious that I mislead the constellation. And my joy would be that the people call you and tell you that the problem is disappeared.
Very good. Yes, it is.
Or they got healthy, or that I think it's kind of nice information.
So, why we do this exercise, Darshan, you're last, but I just want to
Sure. Yeah.
Why you're facing your fear is just to be clear about it, so you know you have to go exactly there to go through it, because this is how you are guided, is to the fear. Everybody has a different fear, and that is why exactly where you need to go. That's a spiritual truth, because the fear is there to be known, and went right into it. And then you go out on the other end and you see, oh my gosh, that was an illusion. Nothing of this that I have thought would happen has happened. And that's such a great relief, and that takes you beyond other fears as well. It's not only this one fear. So it's that's great. So bear that in your mind, and when you do your first constellation, in whatever circumstances it is, go through there and you come out at the other end stronger. Thank you for sharing. Darshan.
Cool. Mine will be pretty quick. I don't want to sound egocentric, but I just couldn't find something that I had a fear about. I have to think about it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was very similar to Francesco's, just essentially making sure, enjoying the smile on people's faces when they've integrated something. Yeah,
that's wonderful. Yeah, lovely.
I have to think about the other one, but yeah, I don't know what it is. There must be something there.
No, don't look for fear when there's none.
Okay.
Right, not to be afraid.
Okay.
No. Awesome. Thank you very much for being with me for today. And I see you in 21 hours.